Just days after NATO shot down suspected Russian drones in the Polish airspace, France has deployed 3 Rafale fighter jets to help protect the Polish airspace and to increase vigilance across NATO's eastern flank. In a statement, the French armed forces said that it had sent the Rafales along with personnel handling equipment and ammunition, and the jets were operational in Poland. Now, the Rafale deployment comes at a time when NATO has launched Operation Eastern Sentry to bolster the alliance's eastern flank. And NATO's drills have coincided with Russia's Zapad military drills, which have heightened tensions in Eastern Europe, particularly the Baltic states, which border Russia and Belarus. In Lithuania, NATO is carrying out the Grand Eagle exercises, in which about 2,000 soldiers and close to about 1,000 vehicles from Germany's 37th Armoured Infantry Brigade are participating. Now, the exercise is part of the European efforts to strengthen the region's defences. Earlier in the week, NATO fighter jets, including the Polish F-16s and Dutch F-35s, had scrambled to intercept multiple drones that crossed into Poland's airspace during Russia's large-scale attack on Ukraine. Now, the incident was termed as a provocation by the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who invoked Article 4 of NATO's treaty, prompting emergency consultations amongst member states. Now, Russia has claimed that the drones were targeting Ukraine and couldn't have reached Polish territory due to their limited range of 700 kilometers. On Friday, the US joined other countries at the United Nations in a joint statement condemning Russia's actions, accusing it of violating international law and also the United Nations Charter.
The United States stands by our NATO allies in the face of these alarming airspace violations. The United States is consulting with Poland and our other NATO allies under Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty. And rest assured, we will defend every inch of NATO territory. This incident does not help the extraordinary efforts that the United States has undertaken in recent weeks to broker an end to the war.
Now, according to reports, at least about 46 out of the 193 UN member states have signed the joint declaration presenting evidence of Russian lettering on the downed drones. Now, Poland's Secretary of State Marcin Busacki said that the incident was not a mistake.
2 days ago, they tried to target Polish homes. This is one of them in a village called Wyryki in eastern Poland. A representative of the Russian Federation claimed that maybe these were not Russian drones. This is the evidence of that, including signs in Russian on the parts of the drone.
Meanwhile, NATO Chief Mark Rutte has said that the alliance will reinforce the defence of its eastern flank, which would involve a range of different assets from allies including Denmark, France, the United Kingdom and Germany. All right, now joining us from Berlin, we've got Dr. Volker Stanzel, who's a former German ambassador to China and also a senior distinguished fellow at the SWP. Ambassador Stanzel, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, the fact that these Russian drones managed to sneak into Polish airspace and also caused a fair bit of damage there, do you think, what is the message that Russia is trying to send out here? Because this cannot be a mistake, or is it a mistake, or is this Russia testing out NATO's eastern flank?
Well, it cannot be a mistake because we had similar incidents in the past already. And every time we saw this was clearly Russian drones. And we saw that their flight, the route they took, usually came directly from Russia through Belarus or through Ukrainian airspace into Poland. So it was part of what I would call a hybrid war that Russia conducts presently against Western Europe as a whole, with many elements to it, like espionage, of course, mainly in the military field, weaponized disinformation efforts like fake news, in Germany supporting the right-wing party and by that trying to destabilize governance, I think we have to confront this kind of challenge. And now the reply that we got from France and from other NATO member states, I think, is a part of that reply.
Right now, Germany is sending a few fighter jets to bolster Poland's defenses. France is sending more of its Rafales. But these are European NATO allies who are trying to bolster the eastern flank. Do you think, in the event the Russians decide to do something that NATO does not expect, the Americans would come to the rescue of the European NATO nations?
Yes, that is a question that we pondered since a long time, because various efforts that Donald Trump seemed to make in order to guide both Ukraine and Russia towards peace negotiations have ended without any success, beginning with the promise to end the war in one day, all the way to negotiations between Zelensky and Putin himself. So we wondered, would the United States be a reliable partner as it used to be in the past? Now, you have just had in the news quoted Ms. Scheer, the ambassador of the United States to the United Nations, who said that America would help to defend every inch of NATO territory. That is as adamant and as clear a statement as can be, and it was one that we hoped for since a long time. It's very reassuring to have that. Of course, many people will say no, is it reliable or not? But I think that is a big step forward for the Ukrainian policy of the United States.
All right, interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Ambassador Volker Stanzel, for joining us with that perspective.
Thank you.